Here is a question that has puzzled geriatric specialists for decades. Why do some seniors fall and other seniors do not? It is not what you think. It is not balance. It is not age. It is not even strength, at least not in the way most people imagine. Senior patients who pass every balance test in my office will go home and fall in their own kitchen the next week. Patients who looked unsteady when they came in will go 10 years without a single incident. For a long time, this did not make sense. We blamed inner ear changes, eyesight, medication side effects, loose rugs and slippery floors. All of those things matter, but none of them on their own explained the pattern. Then, about 15 years ago, the research community started asking a different question. And the answer, when it came, changed how I treat every senior patient who walks through my door. I am Dr. Cecilia Grant, sarcopenia specialist. After 20 years of investigating why seniors fall, the truth I have learned might be the most important thing I have ever shared on this channel. Let us walk through the evidence together. Let us start with what we used to believe. For most of medical history, falls in older adults were treated as a balance problem. Doctors prescribed balance therapy. Physical therapists ran patients through standing on foam pads, walking heel to toe, closing their eyes while standing still. And here is the thing. It helped. Some patients improved. Their balance scores went up. They felt more confident, but the falls kept happening anyway. In my own practice, I would have patients who scored perfectly on every balance test I could give them. They would walk out of my office moving like a person 20 years younger, and then weeks later their family would call, "She fell. In the kitchen. On a clear floor." We do not understand. That is the pattern that puzzled researchers for years. If balance was the real issue, then training balance should solve the problem. But it did not. Not consistently. Not predictably. So researchers went deeper. They started filming seniors as they fell. Slow motion video, high-speed cameras. Hospital and rehab facilities began recording every fall that happened on their floors. And what they discovered was not what anyone expected. In the vast majority of falls, the senior did not actually lose their balance. They lost something else. Before I go any further, I want to pause and ask you something. Because investigations like this only matter if they connect to real life. Tell me in the comments. Have you or someone you love had a fall that came out of nowhere? A fall that did not make sense at the time? A trip that felt minor but caused a real injury? A close call you cannot stop replaying in your mind? Or are you watching this video because you live with a quiet, low-level fear that the next fall is coming and you do not know how to stop it? I read every comment, and your story matters. Sometimes naming the fear out loud is the first step to understanding what is actually happening. Now, back to the investigation. What did those slow-motion fall videos actually reveal? Researchers noticed something consistent across hundreds of recorded incidents. The seniors who fell did not fall because they lost balance. They fell because when their balance was challenged, their muscles could not catch them in time. Watch a young person trip on a curb. Their leg shoots forward, their core tightens, their arm swings out. Within a fraction of a second, multiple muscle groups fire to correct the loss of balance. The young person stumbles but does not fall. Now watch a senior trip on the same curb. The same loss of balance happens, but the leg does not shoot forward in time. The core does not tighten quickly enough. The arm reacts a beat too late. The balance system is fine. The signal is fine. The body recognizes the danger. But the muscles cannot respond fast enough or strongly enough to save the day. That is the hidden reason seniors fall. It is not balance. It is the time it takes for muscle to react. And that reaction time depends almost entirely on how much muscle is left and how powerful it still is. In the medical world, we call this rate of force development. It is the speed at which a muscle can generate strength, not the maximum amount of strength. The speed, and what the research has shown over and over is that this speed declines faster than almost any other physical ability after 60. A senior may still be able to lift a heavy bag of groceries, but the speed at which they can generate force to catch themselves when they stumble has dropped, sometimes by 60 or 70% by the time they reach their 70s. That is why balance training alone does not prevent falls. It trains the awareness of falling. It does not train the muscles to react fast enough to stop it. Here is where the investigation gets even more interesting. When researchers compared seniors who fell with seniors who did not, they found something striking. The seniors who did not fall were not necessarily the ones with the best balance scores. They were the ones who still had strong, fast-acting leg muscles. Specifically, the muscles in the thighs and calves that handle quick corrections and the muscles in the core that stabilize the trunk. These same muscle groups are the first to shrink in sarcopenia. So the chain of events looks like this. Sarcopenia begins quietly in the 60s. The largest, fastest acting muscles, the ones evolution designed to save your life in moments of imbalance, are also the ones most aggressively broken down. The body still has muscle. It just does not have the right kind of muscle anymore. By the time a senior trips, their nervous system fires the signal correctly, but the muscle on the other end of the signal cannot deliver the response. The fall is not a balance failure. It is a muscle response failure. And I want to be very clear here, this is not a small distinction. This is the difference between hours of balance therapy that does not work and a few minutes of the right strength training that does. So how do we actually prevent senior falls? In my sarcopenia clinic, after 20 years of watching patients live and die by their fall history, the answer is clear. You do not just train balance. You train the muscles that catch your balance. That means 3 specific things. First, you train the legs to produce force quickly, not just slowly. Slow sit-to-stands are good. Slightly faster sit-to-stands with control are better. Light, controlled movements that ask the muscles to fire with intent are what builds reaction speed. Second, you train the core. Real core training for seniors is not crunches. It is gentle bracing. Standing tall, tightening your stomach as if someone might lightly poke it, holding the contraction for 10 seconds, releasing and repeating. Doing that 10 times twice a day builds the trunk stability that catches you when your legs slip. Third, you train the calves. Most senior fall prevention completely ignores the calves. This is a mistake. The calf muscles are critical for the rapid foot adjustments that prevent stumbles from becoming falls. Slow heel raises, holding onto a counter, 10 to 15 at a time. That is enough. These 3 things, done consistently, are the most powerful fall prevention strategy I know. Not balance therapy alone. Not better shoes alone. Not removing rugs alone. Although those help too. The muscle, the speed, the strength to catch yourself. Please remember, however, that fall prevention is highly individual. If you have already had a fall, if you are on medications that affect balance, or if you have any neurological or musculoskeletal condition, please talk to your own doctor before starting new exercises. They are the only person who knows your full situation. But for the average senior who has not yet fallen, who is watching this video and quietly wondering if they should be doing more, I want you to hear me clearly. Do not wait for the fall to start training the muscles that prevent the fall. By then, much of the damage is already done. The time to act is before the first incident, not after. That is the message I wish I could tell every senior who ends up in my office after a hip fracture. Almost every single one of them tells me the same thing. They did not see it coming. They thought their balance was fine. And technically it was, but the muscles that should have caught them had been quietly disappearing for years. So if you take one thing from this entire investigation, let it be this. Falls are not about losing your balance. Falls are about losing the muscle that catches you when your balance is challenged. And that muscle, like every other kind of muscle, responds to the right kind of training. If this video helped you understand falls differently, please give it a like. It is a small thing, but it helps me reach more seniors who deserve to know what is actually happening when their friends and family fall. And if you would like to stay strong, stay mobile, and stay independent for as long as possible, please subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every week, sharing what I have learned in 3 decades of medicine and 20 years specializing in muscle health, so seniors like you do not have to figure this out alone. One last thing. If you know someone over 60 who has fallen, or is afraid of falling, or has a family member who has just had a fall, please share this video with them. Sometimes the right information at the right time prevents an entire chapter of pain. Until then, take care of yourself and stay strong. I am Dr. Cecilia Grant.